Hey, fifth graders. I'm going to go over the directions for lowest remainder wins. There are some materials that you're going to need to make sure that you have. So let's take a look at those. You're going to need to each have a lowest remainder wins record sheet. There are two versions. There's a regular version and a challenge version. So choose wisely. You're going to need a spinner, just one die that is 0 through 5, and another die, or two dice that are 1 through 6. So one that's 0 through 5, two that are 1 through 6. Decide who's going to go first for this first round, and then whoever didn't get to go first this round can go first on the second round. The player one is going to choose the divisor, and if you forget what a divisor is, you can look at the posters in the classroom. So player one is going to go with 25 as a divisor. Now, that's also player two's divisor as well. So both of you are going to have to write 25 as your divisor. So this is player one. Player two has their own sheet, but on my computer I have them both here. And then you both fill in these first two columns on the ratio table. So 1 times 25 is 25, and 10 times 25 is 250. This is going to help me once I pick a dividend. It'll help me get started. Okay, so this is the part where you get different numbers. Your dividend is going to be different. Player one is going to toss the 3 dice that we have. Let me click off of this. And they get the digits 5, 0, and 4. So I'm going to write that here. And player two is going to get the digits 3, 3, and 4. Now the goal is to create a dividend that 25 goes into evenly. Or, if it doesn't go into it evenly, has the smallest remainder. Right now I'm looking at the 5, the 0, and the 4 for player one, and they actually have it really good because we know 25 goes into 50, and you can make 50 using these 3 digits. So if I make this 450, there will be no remainder. We still have to solve it just to make sure. And I know if I do the 20, I will have 500, which is close. It's a little too much though. We can't go over. We can go under, but we can't go over. So 20 times 25 is 500. If I take away 2 groups of 25, that's 50, right? That'll leave me with 450, which is exactly what I want. So down here, I'm going to write 18. 25 times 18 is 450. I'm going to take that away, see what I have left over, but we know it's 0. That means I have no remainder. That is exactly what you want. This is like golf. We want the lowest score. So on your sheet, you'll have a spot to put your score, which is your remainder. So my score, or the player one score, is 0 for this one. Now player two, I'm looking at their numbers. They're not going to have the same luck as player one. 25, I don't see a way to make this into either have 25 zeros, 75 at the end, because those aren't the digits that are there. So now you're going to try to make a number that's going to leave you with the smallest remainder. So because there's 2 threes here, that leaves us with less options. We can make 334. This is where a whiteboard might be helpful, so you can write your digits out, or using a back of your piece of paper or a scrap piece of paper. We could do 343. We could have the 4 in front, so 433. Are there any other options here? I can't think of any. So remember, you can't go over. So if I used this one, I would get to 325. The next one would be 350. That's too far. So 325. 43 minus 25 is going to be a pretty big amount. But if I use one of these, I'm going to have a lesser amount, right? So 433 is going to be closer to 425. So that's what I'm going to go with. I'm going to go with 433 as my dividend. So I have a smaller remainder. Okay, now I actually have to solve this. So I'm going to use my ratio table up here to help me. So let's see. I know from up here 200 was too much. Let's do 18. Did I say 200? I meant 20. So 25 times 18 was 450. I'm going to take away one more group of 25 to get 425. And that's where I'm going to stop because that's the closest I'm going to get. Okay, so I'm going to write 17 up here. 25 times 17 is 425. If I add up from 425 to 433, that leaves me with a remainder of 8. So the answer is 17, remainder 8, and my score is 8 for this round. Now you're playing 2 rounds, so on the back of your paper there should be another game, and you're going to play again, then add your sum. So player 1 has a sum of 0 and whatever their score is on the second game. The lowest score at the end wins. Now as you're playing, there's some things I want you to remember. There are some rules, and I'll have a poster of rules displayed in the class so you can look at them if you need to. But there's some rules, divisibility rules, that will help you. Most of us know that if we land on 2, and that's our divisor, if we can make a dividend that ends in 0, 2, 4, 6, or 8, we know 2 is going to go into that number. For 3, if you add up the digits of the number and that number is divisible by 3, then the whole number is divisible by 3. So for example, if I use 504, 5 plus 4 is 9, plus 0 is 9. 9 is divisible by 3. So 504 should also be divisible by 3. If you look down here, if you add up these digits, you're not going to make a number that is divisible by 3. So if I add these digits 4, 3, and 3, 3 plus 3 is 6, plus 4 is 10, and that's going to be the same for all of these. 10 is not divisible by 3, so that number is not going to be divisible by 3. For 4, if the last 2 digits are divisible by 4, then the whole number is divisible by 4. For 5, we know that if it ends in 5 or 0, it's divisible by 5. 10, my favorite one, because if it ends in 0, you know it's divisible by 10. So use those rules to help you come up with a dividend that is divisible by the divisor. All right? Good luck.